Oh shit, what's on the resolution now?
There's no more avatars. Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
Oh,
We're now in a resolution phase where we all try to figure out what are the results of all the steps that happened this last round.
all the shit we did. So, something we didn't touch on that we didn't fully resolve last time, and that's fine. That I think it needed another age. Does Renard and the Salmon what happens when they find the acid dragon?
I think they should find him.
I think that either we do it here or we do it as an event.
And the acid dragon's sentient and running around still right now, right?
Yeah, he's in the water. He's
in
just
the ocean.
the acid lake drew up, and he was like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
What's his motivation right now? Just fuck off, or
Yeah,
We
I don't know if he
don't
really
know.
has one.
yeah, that's what I'm like.
You know, it's something that we really have never touched on.
He was always just
Okay.
like a force of nature to begin with.
So
He just kind of has left the world be and do what it does.
I got an idea. So when Renard gets there, she takes control of him. The lady in the castle takes control of Renard, and she forces Renard to sacrifice himself like Kuzis
Yeah.
did before. So Renard basically throws himself into the maw of the dragon. But unlike before, instead of becoming an avatar, this gives the woman control of the dragon now. So like the dragon becomes green and like his eyes glow like this bright neon green now, and his instead of being acidy looking or black, whatever it was, where he's like blackish green now. Almost like in Ragnarok when she animates the undead, how they get that sickly glow green around them, green glow around them.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. And now she has control of the acid dragon. And Renard is dead.
And Renard is dead.
On the Kuzis thing, when I was going back over everything, Kuzis leaves and comes back like 3 times. He comes back as Kuzis the Black, and he comes back again later as Kuzis, and then like.
And the last time he would be like Kuzis the Shattered. The last time after Weave is dead.
After Weave is dead, because that's who's left with Kuzis. The other half of Weave was always Kuzis.
And now they're both gone.
Kuzis is now a different thing.
No, I think he's dead. I think once he used himself to blow up those
he allowed the dragon to eat it, to consume him.
Yeah, he was done. But the Kuzis story is going to be so dope to go into, because you got to imagine the characters change throughout the transition. It's almost like off the
It's
ground.
also going to be interesting to get into the mind of a sentient ooze. Like,
just imagine.
That's true.
Plane.
So I had an idea for the seed that was planted in Lasermane's city.
Okay.
And I could do this with the next creation round if y'all want, but I was thinking that a Fey entity ends up becoming bound with the tree. And I don't think it should be an avatar necessarily, but it is a creature that is bound to the tree, but is almost clairvoyant enough to be avatar level.
So like a powerful dryad, basically.
Yeah, a powerful dryad, but the not actually a dryad though. It's more of like a trickster spirit.
Okay.
It's something that I've used in one of my campaigns before. I call it Here, and it pretty much turns the tree that it's bound to into a chaotic bar that people end up adventuring to. It's kind of like a questing hub.
Nice.
But if y'all wanted to be an avatar, it could be an avatar too. I just think Here makes a better entity, because although he's powerful, like almost impossible to kill, and he has realm level control inside of his bar, he cannot leave. He does not have the ability or capacity.
I got an idea for it.
His name is Here.
Yeah, what if he is
like Here?
Yeah, Here.
Yeah,
Can I pitch this real quick? What if he's not Fey? What if he is the draconic embodiment of sound that came from this cave that was destroyed and collapsed here? And he's a dragon of like pure sound.
The sound dragon.
The sound dragon goes into the tree. Yeah.
No one even knows. It's like the heart of chaos, or the heart of the healing.
I do like that, but does it still work with the chaotic bar, all that other aspect of it?
Oh yeah, it's.
I mean, remember how
just where the entity is sourced is different. That's fine.
Yeah, remember how we called it the whale? Like it was just a sound, like this emanating sound. I mean, that to me feels chaotic in nature anyway. If it's just a loud pulsating sound that constantly ricocheted off
might
everything.
So
Play a personality change in your concept of the thing based on
And that way it doesn't have to be your other character. It can be like a conglomeration of different things. You know what I'm saying? We can make him our own then, so he's not just necessarily from your
That's
other
fine.
games.
I love that idea. So how do y'all feel about Yule's tree?
chaotic.
Do you guys still dig?
have
Do you
to
guys still dig the tavern idea though?
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I was going to say. That's why it's interesting because he's almost like a living layer, kind of.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say too is chaotic sound, so you can go with jazz.
So how do
Yeah,
y'all feel about
I love how I play all the
the
wrong notes out of
how do y'all
order.
feel about the tavern? Like it just the tree kind of melds itself into being this tavern. Like nobody fucking carved into it or anything. It just happens.
Yeah, it just
And
becomes
then
it.
at one point on the side of the tree, it just says the Wailing Willow.
Quick question: with how
The
big
whale
was
Nice.
the tree
About-
being?
What about like the Banshee's whale? No.
The Banshee's Whale, I like it.
Banshee's well, Wailing well, either way. I think Banshee's
I like-
well sounds a little cleaner.
I like Wailing Well too. Like no
Wailing
willow.
Well. I
Well.
like
A
that
well.
because it's a well is a place to drink.
Yes, and it's
I-
also it
I
also
I like
holds
that.
It's got alliteration. I like it.
the
Okay,
Wailing Well.
real
Yeah,
quick,
that's nice.
I had a question just for my mental imagery, right? So this thing is a huge motherfucking tree, right?
Yeah, it's a massive tree.
So beyond just like the sign appearing on the side in the tavern, can we say over the hundreds and hundreds of years the city grows, if everything continues without getting blown off the face of the earth, that the part of the village actually grows up around the tree as well, like built into the side of the base of the tree and maybe
Sure.
up in a bit?
Don't think too far into the future. We'll just be
No.
disappointed.
But who knows? But yeah, I don't see any issue with that. Do we want to give it a different name than here? The entity running the bar.
Or it's more of
You
a
know,
sound.
dude, I like the name just because
Here,
it's so
here,
yeah,
here.
it's so enigmatic. Like I like it should be something like that. Like it should be like here or whale or like it should be something that's not a thing. It's like an
Mhm.
idea.
HMMMMM
Hmm.
because it's
Just-
a sound.
No, because I think of butthole surfers when you do that.
Really?
hmm Seriously? Okay, never mind.
What
I like here, dude. I think here works. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
here,
here too.
I'm good with that.
Cool.
So I was gonna say that up in the Scar and all that, especially after the recent developments of espionage. But I was already gonna say, like during the event phase, I was really tempted to say, like, because of like staying away from their community for a long time. This is hundreds of years and stuff, and the whole new developed community. It's kind of like Expanse, where you got belters, right? So you have these people that have lived under that for so long and far away, and their understanding of what the world is as a function is totally different than surface people. And when they interact, I think eventually a chasm is going to form where the people on the surface are literally just think these people are fucking insane. At least the average
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
the one that wasn't sent down to get a codex anyway. And so I think I was thinking about like a border dispute or like just like civilians that get in.
Or basically, like you're not allowed to trek into or out of the
where they,
Underdark anymore.
they close it off as a border now, and they're like,
So like the Eternals and the Duergar would actually say like, nope, no one comes in anymore.
well, I don't even know about the internals because I think it might even be further down the lane. Like these people are kind of separate of the Eternal, the Seeker, because if he was part of the Eternal might try to remove them from the infestation of the layer as much as they've been able to get there.
Now, is it that they're just blocking people out, or are they starting to become like exceptionally xenophobic?
I think they're becoming more xenophobic, just because like.
And
the
is
way
it just the Drugar that become xenophobic?
No,
or...
the
You talk about the Scar Elves?
yeah, I'm talking about the ones deep in with the Seeker and his people.
Oh, so like just the Dark Scar Elves.
The Dark Scar Elves, yeah. Like wherever the border comes into their thing now, like it's getting more and more volatile, and then now it's just border, unless you got reason, unless you got pass, etc., etc. Just tensions increasing.
So the Dark Scar Elves become xenophobic. And
Yeah, that's
do
why I
not-
was like, I
okay.
hate to do that because it makes it like fucking
That's okay. It happens. It's
drow.
a natural thing.
Okay, so I have an idea for the Shattecar resolution. So
Alright.
since he turns him into a vampire, he's going to turn him into a. I don't want to call him Zamisi, but he basically turns him into Zamisi. So he's like a cyborg version of it. So instead of infecting flesh of like vampires, it infects technology. So he's almost like kind of like the legacy virus in the X-Men. Like whoever else has technology in their body, if he comes in contact with them, they begin to get infected.
Nice.
And as a result of this, basically all of his people, all these animorphs that were following him, they all become Zamisi too. So they're all undead now.
So I'm just writing this down.
How does the disc
know.
of judgment play out?
Well,
Yeah,
so I don't think he would use it on the Kaya Dune anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
So
I have
who
an idea
would
for,
he use it on?
Well,
I think
at the end of this, he does die one way or the other, right?
Well, yeah, he dies, but
he's
he's
undead.
basically
Oh,
He's undead. Is he going
I thought
to
Avatar
maintain his
dead.
Avatar steps?
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have avatar steps anymore. He's just like a force in the world. But I have an idea for
Yeah.
the canon too.
Who would he blast?
After he becomes Zamisi, he infuses the cannon not with like plasma power. He uses the power from the zombified plants.
The Quaddles and stuff?
Yeah, he puts that into the cannon, and then he shoots this thing right here.
Hold on, what am I looking at? Let me get back to the map.
He shoots
Oh,
the
no.
alien. He shoots the alien plant with the zombified plant shit.
Oh my God.
And that's the Wallace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now remember, this is also like all this now too.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
I'm just trying to figure out real quick. All right. Let me round
Start this
down.
shit around early, dude.
Well, I just keep thinking about what the mycofungal did to the last world.
The other world, yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking too.
It's the same mycofungal, isn't it?
Yep, and it doesn't affect undead, and that's what he is now. So basically, he's blasting the rest of the world with this shit that's gonna turn him into plant zombies. But he'll be fine. He assumes he'll be okay. The Dampier will be okay, and the other ant.
Far plane material. So who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to react to the far plane material, honestly. That's something we could talk about.
It makes far plane energies become sporadic.
Well, my idea
spores.
is it becomes full on the color of space. It becomes full on Lovecraft. Like it just becomes the worst thing you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, it doesn't do what he thinks it's going to do. It doesn't like
No.
zombify them all out and shit.
It doesn't. It turns them into like cosmic horrors, like all this shit.
Oh, I assume that's what it was generally now. Like, all
But it's getting worse. Like it's growing. It hasn't, you know.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
like it's not the blob yet, you know.
Oh no, I was just thinking.
What
Okay, it's the spores, and then one of these things that creates spores mixed with that thing that creates spores, and then it creates spores that generate like, I don't know, third of the surface of the planet.
Have you ever seen Color of Space with Nicolas Cage?
I have.
Yeah,
I
it's-
have
it's
not.
wildly visual.
It's fucking great. But yeah, it, basically it starts to metamorph things, mutate everything.
Okay.
That's what happens in that movie.
Out
Does
of
it affect the
curiosity, what?
Go
Does
ahead.
that affect the Sagoth?
Yeah, I had an idea for them too next round. I was going to create an avatar for them, and this works really good now.
So this basically amps up. This basically
sort.
infuses the energy with more. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
No. Go ahead.
I was trying to figure out. So like basically, this is going to infuse it with even more. Like it's going to amplify the far plane aspects already of this area.
Yeah, it would be like it almost makes them more apparition like. I guess that's the best way to explain it.
Right.
Like far more apparition like than they were before. So before we said it was like giant tomatoes and like big vines and shit. Now it's all fucked up.
Now there's like
Yeah.
tentacles and shit just fucking everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all,
Growth. I like that.
I had an idea
like
for the Sagoth language system. Has anybody read the second Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Charlie and the Glass Elevator.
No.
No.
He encounters an alien race that look like pipe cleaners that spell out every word they say, but it's still not easy to read necessarily.
Yeah.
Because of the words being used.
Out of curiosity, just moving it along a little bit. what are we going to have happen with the plague army that goes to the entity to the north?
Well, they're gone, right? They get
They were
No,
turned into a race of plague
They got
scarabs.
turned into plague scarabs.
yeah.
But
So they're
but
like
now, but now,
plague
what does she want to do with them?
colony face.
Well, what I was gonna do with her is she creates the army for him for what's it, Archibald.
Yeah.
But she now controls the army, and she's willing to give him back control of this army, this gift, but he has to like align with her. So he has to physically go to her like Renard did before, or she's gonna keep the army for herself.
And it's a sub race, right? So this is like the army then settles there. They slowly transform to plague scarabs, kind of like the Greek island pigs, men to
So-
pigs.
Yeah, so Archibald also realizes now that he knows. I think he realizes now that she can't leave the castle because now she's trying to bargain with him to get him there. So now he knows that whatever she is, she's trapped there. She took his army, but now he knows that she can't leave that place, or at least he assumes so, right? Because otherwise, when she's coming out to take him,
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying, Joey, on the like Greek island thing, right? Like the sign, like they pull you to the island, and then you turn from a man
Interesting.
to a pig.
yeah. I would expect it's probably a pretty quick turn. Honestly, it's probably like some high level magic.
yeah, she basically just. I mean, the way I saw it is she just you know how they were like already animorphs and like different races and shit. She just like pits armor on them, and they become death scares.
Yeah, they slowly like they plague into it, so their
Yeah.
bodies fully conform to their scarab shells.
Yeah,
I
like
that.
grows into their bodies basically, and like they're they're like a kind of like Hela did at the end of. I keep referencing Thor Ragnarok. I mean, remember when they came back, how they were just in their armor and shit, but their armor like fused with their bodies,
Yeah.
and they're undead husk. It's like that, but they're not undead, right? They're still alive. They're just filled with disease.
What I
I
mean is, they still live as people or a race, right? Is all I'm
Yeah,
trying-
they're not.
Yeah,
like,
they're plague
not.
scarabs.
They're not
They just are
automatons.
people.
They're an army.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, but there's a whole sub race. So like,
Yeah,
so
they're now just they're basically becoming a race of plague scarabs.
Hey, thank you for the compliment. I don't know how to say that word. Pangolin Paul.
Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah,
Pangolian?
that's one of my kiddos at the high school. What is this?
That's
Cardella.
Okay. That's awesome. The next thing I kind of go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, would Archibald go up there, or is he going to be content with not having that army anymore?
If he did,
Uh,
I think go up there with the intent to blow shit up, right?
Archibald is completely content. As far as he's concerned, his plagues, the entire purpose is to spread the plague. Them having to travel all the way up there probably spread a swath of plague, and he can find new people to put plague into.
Uh-oh.
Added an R.
So he basically he rejects her offer.
Yeah, he rejects her offer.
Nice.
I don't know if it's so much that he rejects it as he just doesn't.
Well, if he's not
respond.
willing to go up there, then he's rejecting her offer.
He doesn't respond.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit his purpose. His goal is to plague and kill everything.
His
She's
doesn't
just
respond
another person on the list.
to her offer. All right. Anything else that I'm looking back at our notes?
The Ractonian war
yeah,
effort against
the Ractonian
Meerkat.
That we're talking
Yeah.
about up in the north.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering about, the Ractonian war effort.
I feel like they start to lose because the Meerkats have for so long controlled necromancy that they every time they get in a skirmish or battle, they just raise whatever troops the Ractonians
Yeah.
lose against them. So I think the Ractonians would request assistance from Valhalla.
Well, do you
through
also
the-
do you
through the
also think
council.
with Shaw, the bloodline of Shaw, that maybe something like that happens?
Well, they're part of the council too, right? The Ractonians are. I feel like
Yeah.
they would ask for help. Like I think that's what they would do.
Well, so are the Meerkat folk. The Meerkat folk are also part of the alliance.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say the council would have to figure out how the fuck that would even work for membership and what that would mean. But also, they have a relief army, so I was thinking the relief army would be sent down as well. So I figured
Oh, the
I
relief
think if they
army
lose this
holds
battle
the whole
because they
line.
can't fight against necromancy that can keep raising things. But you
Yeah.
could push the front far enough that if you had enough soldiers behind the front, that you could build structures, defenses, like a line in the sand on the parallel, and say we're not going to let this get taken again.
Well, they do all that, but what I'm saying is the resolution is that they lose. It's a losing effort. Like they bit off more than they could
It's just
chew.
it's just it's
Because
a wave and wave and wave of undead.
and every time they kill them all, they just raise them back again. So it doesn't like they can't
Yeah.
stop it.
So what we can say, right, is that the effort could have been good had they like moved up here really close to their land, but they wanted to push the edge of the desert. And so not only does their own army hold long enough to build anything, but the stuff that is built is immediately destroyed. So you could have like ruins that last.
So basically,
Definitely.
they're going to lose the overall battle, but they figure if they're going to try again, they're going to get a hold of the life giants and all.
What
that
I'm
next
saying
time.
is, I'm saying they realize the only way that they're not going to lose completely is if Valhalla forces come, because they're all clerics and shit.
Yeah,
Right?
and they just got
That's
their
the-
armies overrun.
Yep, and that's the only like that's what the end of the resolution is. Like they're fucked. Like the undead's pushing up here, and
So,
they started it, so it's on them, man. You know.
It
Yeah.
really is. Let's see here. Rectonians, army, Poxwind. Yep. See. Does anything happen with the communications array from Sunga?
I
Yeah.
don't know if they've actually. Do they've
Yeah.
actually used it yet?
Yeah, I think they send the message and Ren responds to it.
They're pretty much requesting like any aid that Ren could send, because they were part of a horde that now is practically shattered. They haven't seen their avatar in what is it, 100 years, 200 years?
Yeah.
200 to 300 years. So right now, as far as their like core leadership, not only do they think the horde is completely destroyed, but the person that they viewed as their Khan, the Khan of the entire horde, has been missing for 300 years.
Well, upon receiving that message, she would definitely tell Shinto that in order to receive aid from her, he would have to release her, and to do that, he has to find the sword of, was her name Alun? Is that her name?
Yeah, Alatun.
He has to find, if he finds Alatun, that Alatun's the key to freeing her, and once she's free, she could assist.
Okay.
But the sword is we don't even know where it is, right? It fell from space
She doesn't know where it is.
into planted.
It actually landed. Didn't it land where the magma dragon's head was?
Yes, it landed
Oh,
right here.
yeah.
Right.
See, so what Steve did by creating this thing and sending out for help is he inadvertently gave her a escape from her prison, because no one expected them to build this thing and send a message out to her. Even though she has
And
no powers.
that was the sword of what?
Alatun. Alatun.
That's actually what I made the ad for the promo. So I'm glad it came up.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I made 7 dragons that were like in silhouette around a like Chinese sword.
It's pretty dope.
I didn't see that. Where did you post that?
I even took 2 of the dragons and photoshopped armor over them from samurai and Mongols.
Okay. I do have a bit of an odd question for y'all. I know that Rend was stripped of pretty much all of her power, right?
Mhm.
No, I thought she had most of her power just inside that little area.
No, she has no powers.
No, she got fucked.
She has just immortality at this moment, right?
Yeah, all of her power is in that sword.
Okay.
Wow.
How do y'all feel about the possibility of her essentially? You know what? I'll actually do it next round. I know what I'm doing. Sorry, I had an idea.
Goes insane without company.
No.
We gotta remember the place she's at though is like a prison now. Like all the things she built to protect herself.
I
are
know
holding her there.
the mechanical
Kobolds.
kobolds are
Oh,
her weapons now.
it's funny too because she's a game player and a game maker. So in
Yeah.
her mind, the first way of Bastion is to game it. And so then it's a game that she can't win now. So she's
But
just
indirectly, this lifeline came out to her that she didn't expect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Steve randomly doing this thing like opened up this whole possibility for a storyline now, like another narrative storyline with her.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to kill her, because I thought as long as she's there in the world, she could still be used for.
All right. I do have another question on another point here. We mentioned that the Dark Scar Elves are becoming incredibly xenophobic.
Yes.
And then we had the Sogoth, who are a brand new race, who are about to get really weirdly changed as well, but they became experts at tunneling. Is there contact between the Sogoth and the Dark Scars?
Within 200 years?
I don't think so. Well,
Not
for one
yet.
reason, there's in my mind anyway. I don't know if this is a different interpretation. There's like surface, then there's planet, then there's metal prison, and they're like because of the scar and how much depth that took out, they're through the earth layer into this metal inner core layer, whereas the Soggoth would still be working through the miles, and then they would hit a metal if they hit a metal layer, and then they have to find a way into that metal layer.
Well, they got to get under the water too. Like they got to go through the land that's under the water to get to
I
more
was
land.
thinking of an idea for how they could get to the under the water Earth section, right? So they send pieces of themselves, like they create muscle structures almost that turn into tubes, and then the outside ones of them, since they can replicate themselves in in ways where they become smaller, they actually like harden themselves into like a calcification that creates an actual running tube that's solid underneath the water from their land into the crust.
That is something that might happen. I think that's a good idea for next age. Like that's a problem they got to figure out.
The question, because y'all moved the entire far plane thing that the Soggoth exist in onto the bits and pieces of the shattered land, shattered island.
Yeah.
So really, they have a direct connection to pretty much the landmass that goes all the way down, anyways.
Yeah, if they can get through that water, yeah.
But they don't have to get through the water. They're on landmass.
Oh, you're talking about just moving the whole landmass, just moving around?
No, he's saying I
You
think
guys said that far plane thing overgrows what's left of the Shattered Isles, right?
Yeah.
Well, the fragments of the Shattered Isles are connected to the crust and everything else, so there's no water barrier.
See, I never looked
down from the island. You can go straight over.
I never looked at like John did, like it's a layer beneath a layer. I looked at it as when they fired the death ray that made this giant hole, it created like a rip in the space time, so they have access to what the planet really is. It's like the whole planet, this whole thing is a prison. Like all this shit is a prison level. This whole part right here is a prison level itself.
You're saying it's not like a metal cast that they get to?
No.
It's like a veil or a shield
or a veil. But when you get there, we could totally have like the hallways they're going through be metal. I was totally down with that, but it's not a thing that you can get to by burrowing or find a tunnel.
Plane jump. So there's actually like a plane portal into the center area,
right?
Like the Scar Rift.
Like this Scar Rift was so powerful. That's like why we found the Eternals down here too. Because the Eternals are like to me were always like a thing, like a. Not like an avatar or a race, but like spirits almost that are part of this whole quasi-dimensional thing that we built, and they're down there making shit basically.
Yeah, they're part of the machine, right?
But we would have never found any of this in my mind if they never fired that death ray and blew up this giant crater.
Makes sense.
So I mean, I don't know if they would find. I don't know what they would find. We have to figure out what is actually.
Okay, so
what is actually down here if they burrow.
No matter how deep they dig, it's not something where I wasn't understanding that before. I didn't realize that the Scar Elves weren't. They're not just in the Underdark. It's like they've plane transitioned.
Yeah, and we did this thing where like only certain races can actually enter into the other planes. Right? We said like the Lachey can.
The Scar Elves, the Lachey, and I think one other race you mentioned.
The Dhampirs.
Dhampirs, yeah. It was like we chose 3 for now that could actually cross over. And like if they're there too long. And the Quaddles could too, because the Quaddle, or at least Malthus, because he got stuck there.
They stayed too long in the inner.
Well, no, they found like not an escape tunnel, but they found like they found a path in between the realms, basically. So whatever they found down here that the Codex is for is like it's like a place that goes in between all the realms, a repository, I guess, or like a junction, maybe. Is that a better way to put it?
Terminal.
That's
terminal.
So that's where they are, and that's where they've been going around. Now, if we want to maybe the Soggoth dig down deep enough where they find the terminal too.
Possibly.
Do you see what I'm saying? So it is.
We can make a layer for us to touch on it for sure.
Yeah, we can make it that be the layer that's beneath the water and the earth and the center of the core. Maybe it is this terminal that's in between all these different planes, but it's not the thing that Barak found. Not exactly.
Roger that. Okay. That's that. I think that covers our resolution phase.
I had one more thing.
If you had one more thing, cool. Yeah.
So the Kaya Dune turned this eye into a Bifrost,
and
they powered it, but they never really tried to use it. So can we have them try to use it this round and figure out what exactly we're going to have it
I
do?
was actually going to mess with that with the events phase next round.
Okay, do you wanna
But if
say-
you've got an idea, the Kayadun are death cult, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, and one of the things that they worshipped is the moon that crashed through the eye.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, since they powered it and they've been able to use the eye to teleport around the world, correct?
they haven't actually used it yet, but that's what they think it can do. Yeah, for sure.
That's what they think it can do. What I was going to do is that they send someone through the portal and it actually goes to where the moon landed. And I was going to say that the plane where the moon landed after the moon
We're not
crashed
happy.
into it is a Dark Sun stylized world, where I was thinking something like an insectile race and like orcs are the only things that are left. And the problem is when the Kayadun sends someone through, it opens a permanent portal. And so those two races would come surging through, intent on
I got it.
wrecking havoc. Okay.
The moon went to the original home world of the locusts from the other world that were going through the universes and consuming everything. That's where the moon landed. And the only other race there that could survive the locusts are these orcs. We have to figure out why they're so badass and they're able to survive. But that's the only thing that's left on the locust
They
planet.
have to be some kind of, because they're metal locusts, right?
Well, we never,
No,
we never
the
specified they were
locusts-
metal.
The original locusts weren't metal.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought the original were metal.
they were just hive mind.
Yeah, they got infected with adamantine and then became metal
Man,
later.
metal affects everything in our world, son.
Okay, so what do you think the orcs are then, dude? What if they're like our version of like a Orokai or something, like some kind of special orc?
Like kind of like in
What if-
between an ogre and an orc, but like
Yeah,
if we
I was
go-
gonna say, you remember in second edition when they had the Orogs, which were like Damien was saying, the orc ogre crossbreeds.
Yes.
yeah.
I have a question.
What if we full on make them psychic too?
I was about
Like-
to, actually, that's
like
what I
Dark
was about
Sun.
to say. I was
Like Dark Sun, right?
Oh, I didn't even know that's how they work in Dark Sun.
Yeah,
What I
in
was going to say
Yeah.
is because the reason they would survive an insect race, which insect race should outbreed you, it'll outproduce you on a longer time scale. It should win. They have something like when they rage, for instance, they literally shut down. They null psych, and so that's why the insectoids can't win, because being around raging orcs would cause their communication systems to break down. That's the only reason the orcs can survive.
What if it's a reverse rage, John? I like your idea, but what if it's like when they rage, they become clear.
Like stoic.
Like like the Hulk, like in World War Hulk, the reason why Hulk becomes so powerful is because he learns to control his rage, so it becomes he becomes completely calm when he rages, but he still gets all the benefits of it. He just doesn't lose control.
So how do y'all feel about, because that world at some point probably also had magic before it got apocalypsed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Orogs? We're gonna have to come up with a new name for them, I think, maybe. But how do you feel about the Orogs? Like when they get into a battle trance like that, they become not just psychic nulls, but they become psychic and arcana nulls. Like essentially,
Like
the area
anything
around-
magical or sonic shuts down around them.
Yeah. What if
Yeah.
what if they absorb it instead of shutting it down? And that's why they get. That's what the rage is. So the strength and everything, it's them
It's
absorbing
from the
magic and psionic
they
energy,
absorb,
and they become bigger and stronger and tougher.
and they null it. And then you any magic or psychic user in the area have to roll a DC check blank to resist.
Well,
If
if
they can.
If you were making them a race, I would step it up. I'd say as they get higher levels, they start getting stuff like anti-magic shell and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
once they're more and more powerful. But at first, it could be something simple like magic resistance. And every
Yeah, a
time
little bit
they
of magic
every time they
resistance.
resist a spell,
Kind of like
they
what
get-
the Forsaker did in the 3.0.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like every time they absorb a spell or they save against a spell, they get temporary hit points or something. Like that's how you could do it. Like,
Yeah,
so
everything
they get
everything
bigger and
goes
stronger.
into the rage or into like the archetype barbarian like stat block for the absorption. Like it goes into strength. Or
Yeah,
goes
so
into-
it's a natural thing that they have. Like their race just has it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, like, obviously there's a whole back history on a whole other world there. But if there's the orcs and insects left, and they're
I think we should make them like
used
we
to be
should make
the
them.
orcs, the insects, and magic, and maybe the orcs were made by the magic users to be null psychs
to protect them.
protect
Yeah.
them, and then became magic psychs as well from fuckery. And
From
then
years of oppression, dude, they
killed-
revolted. Like
Yeah.
just one of them was born with like magic resistance too, and like he like revolted and killed. They killed everything. So how about we make them like half ogre size? Like they're large, they're big,
Yeah.
motherfuckers. Giant,
Yeah,
like,
they're-
not
they're-
giants, but large.
Yeah.
Not huge.
How do you feel about calling them Nullrogs?
I like that. No,
I like it.
Oh, rocks. Gotcha. I mean, who doesn't want to fucking play a null rog now? I'm just saying. Like, 'cause that sounds badass.
That's why I'm saying we have to give them a way to resist, right? Because if
Okay.
not, it's like, oh,
So
are you
I
not
think-
a size user?
I think also too, when they open up this permanent portal, it's because they full on draw the moon back through the eye. So it blows another hole through this eye and it goes back up into the celestial heavens from whence it came the first time. So it full on is back up in the sky now.
The moon slingshots back out of the portal. I like
Yeah,
it.
back out of the portal, back to its original location.
So what if on the other side, like it doesn't crash into their planet, it passes close that causes chaos, and then like rubber bands back through by it again. So it
Yeah,
comes
it has
out,
like an orbit.
yeah. Oh my god, that'd be dope as hell. It orbits back and forth between like a yo-yo, but it just takes like ages.
That could be so dope. Yeah, so
Oh
it'd be,
God.
dude, so like every 20 years it comes closer and closer down into the atmosphere and gets
Yeah.
closer and closer to the eye.
Fucking with
That's
shit.
fucking dope. That's so awesome.
It's the time of the great meeting.
So that's how they measure their ages from now on. It's like their moon cycles, like every 20 years it moves like two
north.
2 miles or some shit.
Great meeting is coming.
Jeez.